Yes, I got 10 to 15 minutes, and I will give you a very short version of what we are working with. Here it goes. Our new company, Organic Plant Protein, established 2 years ago. We are producing meat analogs based on local produced proteins from pea and fava bean. Something's wrong here. I went to the bottom, sorry. Here we go, that's better. Our mission with the company is to support this important reduction of meat production, and doing that by developing and producing new plant-based meat analogs. What we really need are something else than meat, where we still have good texture like meat, which people love, a mild taste that you can take in any direction, and an acceptable price. We also decided as our mission that the new technology is only used for organic production. The reason for that is that we want to support the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, which need something like organic production if we shall be serious about all the goals. We cannot keep producing conventional farming as we know up till now anyway, with high use of herbicides and pesticides and artificial stuff. Our background for doing this is we have been active in organic farming and meat production for very many years, starting as farmers in 1980, developing production system for organic pigs with focus on animal welfare. In 1993, we founded the organic meat company Hanegale, focusing on production without additives and without allergens. Then something happens in 2015. We get the United Nations Sustainable Goals, and now we have to focus on developing plant-based alternatives. Hanegale starts off very successful with a vegan pate and several ready meals, but very soon we find out that it is difficult to develop good plant-based product like sausages, meatballs and burgers if we also wanted to be without additives and without allergens like soy and gluten. And therefore the conclusion was we need new ingredients. That's what we found at the Technological Institute. In 2018, we became aware that Danish Technological Institute had developed a new technology for texturing proteins from pea and fava bean. We saw a product with a very fine structure, close to meat, mild taste, based on protein concentrate, produced by a clean mechanical process, no chemistry, no isolates. The process they worked with at Technological Institute was dark dry texturing without additives or any chemistry. And it was evident that this technology was with a much lower energy consumption than what we know from wet texturing and texturing based on the protein isolates. So this was very interesting. The year later, we sold the shares in Hanegale, and we used the money to found this company, Organic Plant Protein. The technology from Danish Technological Institute was transferred by just simply hiring the clever man, Per Lang Sørensen, who had developed this new technology. We had a quick process establishing the factory, and already February 2020, we were ready to produce in a new factory with high capacity, ready to support this new interesting market. The heart in the production is an extruder. You see a picture from our factory here, and the clever man, Per Langshot, you see to the right. It looks very complicated and highly processed, but in reality, what is really happening is a simple, well-known, clean process in this machine. We are talking about kneading, we are talking about heating, and we are talking about forming. So actually, it's not more complicated or highly processed than when you bake a bread at home or when you are producing a pasta at a similar equipment. The raw material for the production is protein concentrate. We need an ingredient. We need a flour with a protein level above 55%. We produce that from legumes, from pea and fava bean, which definitely are the crops that are best to produce in our climate area when we want to produce as much good protein as possible per hectare at a reasonable price. We have developed a wide range of different products based on this protein flour, different sizes, different functionalities, suitable for many different products that we know as meat products, but that we now can produce as plant-based products. For all the ingredients, we have the same to say. It's organic, it's soy-free and gluten-free. It is without E numbers or other chemistry in the process. We get a mild taste. We get a good texture. And by saying good texture, in this case, it's texture like we know from meat, a fiber-like texture. The mild taste is important because then you can move the taste to the direction that we want. We also can offer these new ingredients at a price level which is close to meat. And maybe the most important is that the climate impact of this new meat analog is as low as 0.9 kilo CO2 equivalent per kilograms of hydrated product, which is what is comparable to meat. We can come back to this figure later if there's time for it. Now I will rush further with the main information, a little about the market possibilities for these products. We think our main market will be ingredients for food industry that are needing these ingredients, as well as our old company Hennegale are needing these ingredients to produce new plant-based products. We also are looking for food service and retail, and in this case we will be seen with the brand Plant-Made, which we are using when on retail packaging and on packaging for food service. Concerning retail, we are on the Danish market with 4 products, not selling very well in Denmark, but we are also in several other countries in other brands, and here the products are very successful in the UK market and in the German market especially. We have been there since autumn 2020, and the 2 companies we are supplying have reordered several times, so that's developing very well on the retail market in other European countries. I'll show you some figures on the nutrition values of our product that we now call plant-made. The ingredients is a mixture of pea protein concentrate, normally 80%, and the fava bean protein concentrate, normally 19%, and then 1% salt. In the table, you see the column in the middle, the dry products. That's what we produce and supply. But when you use it, you have to hydrate it, and it takes up its own weight 2 times. So having 53 grams of protein in the dry product, we end up with 18 grams of protein, as you can see in the bottom line, in the hydrated product. And that is what we can compare with other ingredients. I'll show you on the next slide. Just mention before we shift that, and I think that's really important, that the high temperature in the extruder improves the digestibility of the proteins from fava beans and peas. So we have good value when we eat it. And we get rid, the high temperature also takes care that we get rid of the lectins, which is not good to eat. Here you see my next slide comparing our hydrated meat analog with fresh chicken and cooked lentils. We can start to look at the protein in the bottom line. You see almost the same level in our meat analog as in fresh chicken meat. Whereas when we come to the cooked pulses, in this case I show you figures from cooked lentils, we are down to below half, 9 grams protein per 100 grams product. What is also interesting to see, especially when we compare with the cooked pulses, is the level of carbohydrate, which is pretty low in the meat analog comparable to meat. But when we come to the cooked pulses, we have a high content of carbohydrate, which also means that we have a higher energy level. What we can conclude is that plant-made can replace meat 1-to-1 in many cases. I'll show you. And what we also can conclude is that the same amount of cooked lentils supplies only half as much protein and 25% more energy. And this is important details when we come to the situation when we shall put together meals with a good balance between protein and energy, especially actually for the older population that need more energy, more protein, but less energy. Otherwise they get fat. And well, if you look around, you see that's what normally happens. And that's not good for health. Just some examples of possible applications of our ingredients. We can make a very good burger. We can make pieces of meat like chicken and a dish like chicken and curry, for example, plant-based. We can make plant-based bolognese, meat-like toppings for pizza. Almost any dish you can prepare in a plant-based version with our ingredients. We have 2 websites where you can find more information, Plant-Made DK and the corporate website, Organic Plant Protein DK. Now, Annika, do we have the time for looking at the climate impact figures?
I'm afraid not.
Okay.
When
you get the presentation, the slide will be there.
Yeah, it's okay. So you can do it. It's fine.
I stop now.
Ulrich, you can go ahead. It's fine. Okay.
I made this slide on the climate impact. We had Henrik Saxe from Denmark, Mindful Food Solutions, to calculate the climate impact of our product, plant-made. And this result was, as you see, 0.9. And what I show also in this table are figures for other kinds of food. It is figures taken from the Concito database, and it's important to say that the result for plant-made is based on the same principles in the calculation, and especially the same indirect land use change figures has been used. And this especially becomes interesting when you go to the bottom of the table and you see very efficient pork and chicken production will be around 3 to 4 times higher climate impact, and when you come to beef, much higher climate impact. Just one comment more on these climate impact figures. You shall be very careful when you compare data from different sources. There are different ways to make these calculations. Just a comment on this. I think that was all from my side in this first round. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much for that presentation. I still find this case incredibly interesting, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for you. We have a question from the audience, which is, where can we buy this product in supermarkets in Denmark and Sweden and perhaps other countries here in the Nordics?
I can only ask for Denmark for the time. You can find it in the Copenhagen-based supermarket Irma, most of the shops. Coop should have it in all the other chains as well, but they have not found it interesting yet. Danish supermarket or selling group, you find it in Bilka and in some of the Føtex shops, especially in the eastern part of Denmark. Nemlig.com will have our products. The chain menu will have our products from sometimes in the autumn. But overall, I find it a little frustration that the supermarkets in Denmark do not see the responsibility in supporting this transition to more plant-based. When they are presented new plant-based products, they only look at it as a business case and not as that they definitely are responsible to support this transition by making the products available.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, retailers do have a lot of power in actually making these products available to the consumer. You're right. There's a question from Christian E. from Green Transition Denmark. There's your camera. Perfect.
Yes, now I found the bottom.
Now we can all actually see what you look like as well. Perfect. When you compare CO2 equivalent peas and lentils with meat, why do you use the dry form of the plants while the meat will contain water? Actually, I think that might be a question for Concito, because I don't know if you actually know that.
I cannot comment on the calculation, actually.
Yeah, I think we'll have to ask.
Henrik Saxe should be in the audience, maybe.
That could be. If you know anything about it, you're welcome to ask.
Anyway, I can say that Henrik Saxe made a very detailed report on his calculation, and I can supply that for anyone interested. I can send it for you, Annika, and then you can distribute it. Sure. I think that's the best way forward on this question.
Yeah, I'm happy to share it with the audience after the seminar.
Yeah.
Michael Milter from Concito is saying he assumes that it's per kilo of product in the store. Okay, and right. Okay, so I think we have to move on to the
next.
It's
based on the hydrated, that's the answer.
Yeah.
Because we wanted to show the figure comparable to fresh meat.
Yeah, so when you compare your product with minced beef, for example, it's actually the hydrated plant-made product, so that it's comparable. Yeah.
But I can, maybe some of you were at Christian Brugge anyway, was in Nyborg Strand Monday last week. And we served at lunch a plant-based burger based on our ingredient. And Henrik Sachse has calculated the complete burger and found that the plant-made version had a climate impact 12 times lower than a beef-based, comparable beef-based burger.